What's going on, YouTube? Just coming in here to talk about the things that have been going on recently. Before this was more of a just being super busy with life and all of that, but now it's actually become a full time thing now, and I'll be getting into exactly what's been going on. But in short, got married, and then right after that, bought a comic and card shop called the Comic Dimension. Um, And how this all came about was we were offered it by the previous owner. He worked with us and helped us along the way, and still helping us as of now to get everything set up and get it running. But for the past 2 weeks now, we've been, well, one full week of actually running the full store. But this all happened over Memorial Day weekend. Closed on Memorial Day so we could start transferring over inventory into the new system and things like that. But just been a lot of paperwork and stuff to deal with, and that had taken up a lot of my time. But now that we fully are owning the shop, been running it for a week, things have been going pretty good, and all the support around us has been great as well. But this is just more of like a what things have changed in this store and what we're kind of working on. Also, we will make a Comic Dimension YouTube that is being switched over from the previous owner to us. Some small things are taking a little bit longer to get swapped over, but overall, most things have been going pretty smooth, especially running the business wise. And I'm actually recording these at like 6 in the morning when I get up, or when my wife gets up to go to work. I normally get woken up, and it just makes sense for me to come in and do all the nighttime orders and get stuff started for the day earlier than when we're normally open. So a couple things that we've decided to try and change here and do things hopefully for the better. First off is like we've switched from an older in-store card system, I believe it was called Binder, to TCG. Reason being for that, TCG, especially our first week open, had a Mayhem sale, and that was great for us to help us get a little bit more money. That way we could buy some cool things that we actually want to for the shop, and update a couple things, because if you can't tell, right behind me is a big old dragon. I know it's hard to tell it perfectly, but this is our D&D room, and you wouldn't know this, but up until a couple days ago, we did not have lights in this room. Now, there were lights, but they were, as you can see, over my shoulder. There's a lamp on each side of the room, and around the room, there are lights hanging from like dragons' mouths and stuff, which is pretty cool, and we do like it. But one of the things that our DM here really wanted was some better lighting. And cool, we want to do that. We want to help them do whatever we can, because our DM here does a lot of good for us, like brings in a whole lot of people. We run campaigns 6 out of 7 nights a week, and then some days we run 2. So anything they need to make their job easier and keep all their players happy, we're definitely going to want to do, and that was one of the first things we needed to do. But on top of that, we're trying to order in older stuff. A lot of card shops, they're always in the new system. So like for us, and where we're at, there are quite a few card shops, but they all start with, whatever set they started on. So for us, technically, our first release is going to be Marvel. And a lot of shops will be like, well, there's Marvel, but I'm going to order like 3 sets back, whatever, maybe back to Avatar or some other big set that came out before. But then you're just always going forward, and you're never going to stuff that's out of print. And for us, we kind of want to be able to go back to that out of print stuff. Maybe we can't carry it all the time, but like we just ordered in Gatecrash and Throne of Eldraine and some other stuff like that. And for people who's been playing Magic for a long time, they really enjoy opening some of the older stuff. So that's something else that we want to try and carry. Maybe not, the most high dollar premium old sets, but stuff that people do enjoy opening, have good cards. And for them, they're like, oh, cool, I started playing back when Gatecrash came out or something. I want to open a pack of that. Or maybe I didn't play during that time, but, it's a new pack to me. I'd like to see what's in it. So that's another thing we wanted to do, and that's a big reason for the TCG update, was because online sales, you kind of need them to survive now. Some shops can live without them, and I understand that. But to grow and become a more successful business, you do need some sort of online presence in selling. So right now, we've decided to go with TCG. We are auditing the old store's inventory into our new one. I did purchase the shop with another person. We are 50-50 owners of the shop, and we brought in his inventory to start our TCG. And now we are going through the old inventory and checking it. Reason being is that the old inventory randomly would have misses. Like if we needed to find a card, we could not get it or find it. And that was mainly because the older system they were using did have a couple problems with, like, if you misclicked one button, it was not saving the whole order you took out. And we would wind up with duplicates and missing cards and stuff. And it was just a pain. Because I was working here for 2 weeks before we bought it. I was just actively behind the counter working every shift to learn more and more. Because I have been selling cards myself for over 2 years now. It's my full-time job. But there is a difference in how their systems ran, how they want to keep working them, how the manager who was buying the store with me liked to do things, and I wanted to make it as easy as possible and learn their system. And then, yes, with our updates and upgrades and things, we can change with that, but trying to keep it as close to normal for everybody that works here. That way we're not changing up a whole lot of stuff on them as well and making their day-to-day harder. So that was one thing, switching to TCG, learning their system here, and improving the store. And by improving the store, like, this store is great, not anything like that, but the DM wanting better lighting and stuff, and we're like, cool, we're going to have to come out of pocket for these things. And that was one big reason that the TCG sale really helped us out, was because brought in some extra money that then we could upgrade the lights. We've added a second kiosk in store, because a lot of times people would come in to use the kiosk, and if they seen, of course, somebody sitting there, they would just have to wait. And we want to cut down on that as much as possible. When you come in the store, if you want to put in an online order, we want you to be able to, go right over to the kiosk, be like, I want this and this, and be done. And that way you can go play your games for whatever night. If you're on Tuesday or Friday night, you can go play your games while we pick your order. And then just makes it a lot smoother and a lot more open for everybody to get what they want, get to play their games while we do the work side of things. And then after that, also, the quicker we get the orders in, we can hurry up and get through them a lot faster. And then, if we need to fill in for a game or something, we could do that like I did last week. And, just things that we overall are having to work on. Now, with auditing the inventory for TCG and making sure everything's right, of course, we have the other owner's full inventory here. Mine is still waiting to be sorted in, because we wanted to do the stores, because the store, even though there were some discrepancies in the numbers of cards and stuff that we had that we need to fix, they did have a big inventory, of course. And for that reason, we decided that we were going to go through theirs, and then later we will funnel mine in as well. But for the time being, that is a tedious process. Right now we're in the F's. It's been a week. We had some other things happen this week, but we're in the letter F, and we're getting them cycled in now. And we're hoping before Marvel comes out, which will be a separate video of what just happened with them, we are hoping to get the full inventory in. That way when Marvel comes, we're ready to go. Because like with TCG, we had to become a certified hobby store. Then we had to try and get in for pre-sales. Technically, our store is a WPN, so we can also apply for that as well through TCG, since we are new owners and we had to set up all the stuff on our own, like not buying the actual company that owned the store. We had to reapply for a whole lot of our distributors and things of that nature. And luckily, those are going pretty good. They're working with us because it is the same store. It just happens to be under a new LLC. So stuff like that are things that we're having to learn and deal with right now. And that's the same with getting in older inventory. You have to buy from reputable dealers. You have to do things a little bit differently, Not that when I was doing it by myself, would I not buy from reputable dealers or anything like that. But it's a lot more stringent on if I buy something and then somebody comes in the store and purchases it from me, opens the pack and the pack was resealed or fake or anything like that, it would completely ruin the reputation of the store. And those are things that when you're a solo person, yes, ruining my reputation would suck, and that would not be good for me in, being told I sell fake products or any of that stuff. That would be a problem. But now with a store that already carries the name and you want to keep the reputation or make it better than what it ever has been, you've got to watch things like that. And that is why, going through actual dealers is really about the only way you can do it. Also, buying sealed product off of people can also come with all other problems. If it was stolen, if it was, people going to Walmart and buying up the Walmart shelves and then coming to you to sell it, or stealing it from Walmart, or stealing it from any big box company and coming to a store to sell sealed product, you never know what you're getting. Again, resealed product, open, missing cards, stolen product, all these terrible things that people do nowadays because certain card games are so expensive. We have to look out for. And that is one of the big things of us getting our distributors all set up. And again, luckily, the main one that we use has been working with us and helping us get things set up, which has been a great help. Now, for all the other ones, we do wish all this stuff was quicker. There's a lot of things around us that we're filing for licenses and stuff, and we're having to work on those, and it's just kind of a pain. But those are all things that are good in general and coming down the pipeline. Luckily, we got to keep some of our old pre-orders. That way we're not missing out on any big sets, and it gives us a little bit more time to get those things in. So that's the main thing for here that we're going for and trying to fix right now, or just finish getting in the TCG inventory, making sure that we're set up for pre-release and all of that, and all the stuff that Wizards is messing up on right now. So we're trying to make sure that everybody is, made whole and completing anything that we have offered before, and also not overextending ourselves right now. Because not even opening a new store, because this store has been here for over 10 years already, but trying to make it better, trying to keep the community here that likes being here and expand it, because everybody wants to play more, Magic, Pokemon, any other card game, other board game nights. Our D&D is going amazing. We have 3 great DMs and 2 that are here full time all the time working on stuff, and then the other person is also great that does it, just not a full time. But hopefully in the future, with our waiting list for D&D just keeps getting longer and longer, because word of mouth of the people that run the games is so good. And now that we are using more updated methods, not just taking somebody's name down and stuff and not that was also a big thing too, is moving into more digital stuff to help us, as in we need to make a Google form so you can fill out that you want to come play D&D here on a Tuesday night. Cool. When a date opens up on D&D Tuesday night, go down the list, make phone calls, see who's available, not available, make sure everything that they want run, and that they're going to have a good time with the group that they're playing with, and then we can get them in here. Not so much as used to be, write down pen, paper, write your name, what days you're free, we'll give you a call. Those things can go missing, and I'm not even saying that doing it the digital way can't mess up or go missing, but it is great that we are trying to make improvements so we know who's playing what nights. If they're playing every other week with their DM, cool. Then on those off weeks, hey, let's get a new campaign going in here that's every other week, just so we can grow the game and let people come in here and enjoy themselves and have a good time in our dungeon. It's called the dungeon, literally, but come in here and have a good time. Besides that, we're looking at adding trivia and board game nights. Of course, every place has their popular nights for, if it's Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, any other card game, stuff like that. They have their popular nights, but there are nights where you don't have those things scheduled. So for us, we're trying out new things. Used to run a lot of board game nights here, and then COVID, when that happened, kind of killed off quite a bit of it. And there's still people that come in on those nights to play board games, But we want to make it more of a community thing and not, two people each playing their random games. If they want to do that, perfectly fine. Come sit at the tables, have fun. But if you're also looking, you want more players to play, bigger games like Mafia, Werewolf, things like that, the games that you can have up to 10 people, and you actually want that, we want y'all to be able to come in here and actually play and have fun doing that. So that's kind of the updates that I have for this. Whenever we get the actual official YouTube video or YouTube channel up, I will share a link in it in the bottom of this video, and I'll also post a new video with that. That one's going to be more centered around like the business side of things, and kind of letting people know what it takes to actually start a shop. The owner here was very generous with us, helped us out a whole lot, was more flexible than we think anybody would ever be to help. But he knew it was going to, again, one of the managers here and to me, and was going into good hands. He's still around helping us out with the day-to-day things that maybe we don't know or didn't know to file for right away and in what order. So that's all been very helpful, and so we know that our experiences are a little different than others. Some good channels that I watch about these things, like Kitchen Table TCG and stuff like that, they went into like how much you may need to start or things you're going to need that you don't specifically know for like the playing side of things, which is very helpful. And as much as some people, however you feel about certain people like Alpha Investments and stuff, he's went through what it took for him to start a shop and gave the exact numbers out. Now, ours, again, are a little different because it was a shop that was already here. But for inventory purposes and things like that, we had been saving up for years. I had been saving up since even before I did this as my full-time job 2 years ago. I was saving up a lot of money, and then I was saving up a lot of products and things of that nature because I'm like, eventually that was the goal, was to own a shop and get it going and see how, successful I could be with it. Is it one shop? Does it get to be a bigger location? Do I open another one, 45 minutes away just to have more? Maybe I can't find a bigger area or a bigger spot in my area that works for us. So you open a second shop that's farther away, but that way, hopefully you can rebuild what you have in your original store, and that will help you along the way become more successful and spread, all the D&D, all the Magic, the Pokemon, all the things that you enjoy, you can spread it even more. And for here, we also have comics and stuff that I'm learning a lot about now. That was not something that I was big into. Of course, I knew about comics and, general knowledge, but I wasn't huge into it. But recently, been learning a lot about those, trying to bring in collections and trying to expand what we have here, just to make it even better than it was, which, again, is the goal for any business owner. You want your business to be better than, if you buy a new one, you want to make it better than it used to be. And if you're, working with a brand new business, of course, every day you're wanting it to work and become better. And that was something I noticed too, as not to make this video too long, when we first opened, we made our post about it and everything, and I was kind of sitting here talking to my business partner, because me and him, the Sunday before Memorial Day, we did 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. getting stuff done. Monday was 10 a.m. to 3 a.m. and then the Tuesday was 8 a.m. to 3 a.m. And Tuesday's our big Magic night here, but that was what we did. And a lot of our nights have just kept being long hours. Now it's gotten a little better. We've gotten things a little closer to pulling orders during the day if there's 2 of us here. If it's later in the afternoon, like I've been coming in early and pulling all the morning orders just to get things going quicker, so we're not staying as late at night and all these things. So that was a big thing for us to learn. But on our first day open, I looked over at him. I was like, how crazy this would be if we had to start this on our own, and you have to build your own clientele, which I know is the hardest part of opening a business. And that was why when this was offered to us, we did everything we could to jump on it, make sure that we did it correctly, and we don't want it to go anywhere, of course. We know that we were blessed with an opportunity, and it also helps that the manager that was also purchasing it had been here for 5 years as a manager. So a lot of people knew him, a lot of people liked him, and wanted to support him when he let everybody know, hey, we're buying this. And of course, I've been playing here for years as well. I didn't just jump into a store that I'd never been to just because. I had played here for 5, maybe 6 years, and I was also, would just hang out here, even if I wasn't playing, just come in and hang out. So that was our big thing, and our first night went great. Actually, every day's been great here, even on our slow days when we're not, maybe don't see as many customers, or some of our regulars aren't stopping in, as, again, everybody has a life, so we never expect people just to show up for no reason. But a lot of our regulars will just show up to hang out with us and talk and, ask us how it's going, which we appreciate. But it was just, even on slow days, it's like we're still living what we wanted our dream to be. Owning a shop, now working the crazy hours eventually. Hopefully we'll slow up a little bit, but in the meantime, we knew that this was coming. We planned for it, and I'm just glad that a lot of people have supported us so far. And all the new people, we've had a lot of new players coming in, which has been great. I think recently we've had like 9 brand new players come into our shop. And coming to the shop, buy a pre-con. I also suggested them a lot of times the command zones kind of upgrades to decks and stuff. So when they're wanting to spend, $20 or $30 to upgrade that pre-con to watch those videos, even though now, since some of we're carrying older pre-cons, some of them are a little out of date now on the upgrades, it's still, hey, that's a good starting point. This is what they suggest. Here's a couple new cards that have come out that are cheap and in a budget that will suggest once they've been playing for a week or two and be like, I want to upgrade this a little bit. What should we do? And it's like, here's some budget cards just to swap out, lower your mana cost, things like that. But again, it's been really fun. I appreciate all the support. And again, once we get the actual channel pulled up, I will link it down below. I'll do an update video on there too, just for the first one. But then after that, we will be trying to do weekly content for that, of kind of things that have went on in the shop, like the new Marvel being delayed and stuff like that. I will be making a video for, and hopefully getting that out very soon as we are dealing with that. But anyways, thanks for watching. Peace out.